Hi all, Rick here with a video breaking down the Romulan Shuttlecraft as seen in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and why I think it's generally superior to the Federation runabout at its job. The Romulan Shuttlecraft was created by Doug Drexler for Deep Space Nine as the first on-screen appearance of a Romulan transport ship since the smaller scout vessel, seen in The Next Generation. This was needed for the script, which required the specific use of a small craft for the storyline of In the Pale Moonlight. The vessel was developed at an unknown Romulan shipyards deep within the Star Empire territory and was used as a long-range transport. The Romulans tended to forge large battleships or warbirds, and used these for most ventures. However, that would be wasteful in some circumstances. So these smaller ships were created as couriers to sort of run about the sectors. After all, a choice of ship is important, so I'm excited to show you the sponsor of this video, the upcoming Star Trek Warp. If you enjoy customizable card games like me, then you'll love the variation of deck themes here. A Star Trek collectible card game is entering orbit. Star Trek Warp draws from the vast Federation archives, bringing iconic moments and characters from throughout Star Trek's history into the game. It's going to be legendary. You can use my link below to wishlist Star Trek Warp on Steam. Warp's deck building is influenced by your choice of starship, which determines the deck size, health and abilities. There are numerous recognisable vessels beyond those of the Enterprise, and you can build your deck from a wide array of legendary heroes and villains and battle your opponents in ranked, casual or challenging PvE modes across 7 lanes of tactical placement and strategy. The game will be available first for those who purchase the first Contact pack, which comes with a bunch of exclusive items. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below and wishlist the game to show your interest. Thanks to the developers at Monumental for sponsoring this video. In beta canon, the Romulan Shuttle was known as both the Theta-class shuttle and the Kestrel, with the Theta designation suggesting that there were differing subtypes of this ship. The ship could be operated by a crew of 2, but had room for a team of up to 15 officers, not including passengers. The bulbous pods on the side are the expansive passenger hold, with the cockpit up the front. That area is shaped to resemble the same beak-like structure as other Romulan vessels. However, the addition of the window segment makes it resemble a Centurion's helmet, which is also fitting for the Romulan Empire considering its out-of-universe inspirations. Well, of course, for in-universe, it remains styled after the Romulan Raptor, with feather-like hull panelling on the wings, adding to the bird motif. Although there is some contradiction, the vessel is 24.2 metres long, 15.9 wide and 6.57 tall, which makes it slightly larger than the runabout. It weighs in at 142 metric tons. There is also some contradicting lore that it may house a standard matter-antimatter warp core or a microsingularity core. The Romulans did employ standard warp core technology in some older vessels, and it's possible that the expansive singularity drives are not able to be condensed to a small enough scale. But it also retains the same shape favoured by the larger Romulan Dederodex class, with the hollow between the 2 wings, which does imply it uses the same form of warp system. Either way, it has a maximum warp factor of an astonishingly high 9.6. This is far faster than the Federation runabout and perhaps highlights the specialist usage of this vessel. In terms of armaments, it is more heavily armed than a shuttlecraft and on par with a runabout. It has 6 plasma-based disruptor points around the hull and 2 micro-photon torpedo launchers. While not suited for combat, it packs a surprising punch and can weather the blows of much larger vessels. On the base, it has 3 landing prongs that extend to hold it, as well as an air scoop for atmospheric flight. It has rather powerful and prominent sensor arrays. Unexpected for a transport, although probably not for a Romulan ship. There was a single dedicated sensor dome on top, and many more sensor arrays down the spine. I would suggest that this vessel therefore can double as a scout ship or surveillance craft. But I mean, it's Romulan. That's like saying Starfleet ships have some decent sensors, or Klingon ships are built to be hardy. It's just kind of expected. Finally, there is a cloaking device installed, which not only adds to the notion it would make a good spycraft, but simply also that it provides the added security for the smaller and more vulnerable transport. So, the best way to look at the Kestrel class is to compare it to the Runabout. While the Federation took a transport and gave it multi-role functionality, the Romulan Kestrel was specifically to keep its occupants safe and ensure delivery. Everything about this ship supports that. The fact that it was as fast as their larger vessels ensured minimising flight risks, and it means that even their best warbirds could not keep up, as they suffered damage at reaching Warp 9.6, so rival factions or some political infighting cannot result in this ship being overtaken. And it had a cloaking device to hide it. A major flaw in cloaking technology that the Federation has been trying to rely on is that the mass of the vessel and the gravimetric profile of the Romulan singularity cores still leaves a faint shadow to trace. However, with its much reduced size and relatively less power output, it practically means that once this ship takes flight, catching it is incredibly difficult, especially with its combination of speed and stealth. The extensive armour around it also increased its durability in case it was discovered. Essentially, the only real way to intercept or even locate this vessel and get at its occupants was to be already inside before it took off. There is a beta canon version that is larger and served as a troop transport, holding literally hundreds of soldiers, but this is not seen in the shows and would have to be significantly bigger to manage this. And that covers all the lore of the Romulan Shuttlecraft, a deceptively proficient little ship, and frankly outside of transporters, it should be one of the safest ways to travel. Thanks for watching, and thanks again to Monumental for sponsoring this video. Wishlist the game on Steam now in the links below, and I've been Rick. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, goodbye.